Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are making these claims that Diana is somehow the reincarnation of Princess Diana, that they are similar spirits, that Diana is guiding Meghan and Harry through their new life in Montecito.
What if I told you that Meghan Markle may be using Princess Diana's memory, not as a tribute but as a tool? Today we dive deep into shocking claims made by royal biographer Angela Levin, claims that suggest Meghan has turned Diana's legacy into a weapon of emotional control over Prince Harry. Stay tuned. This is the side of the royal story you won't hear on mainstream media. And hey, if you care about truth over PR spin, hit that like button.
Is that really true?
Of course not. It's nonsense, but you can actually pretend it. You can create it, can't you? It's very interesting because the whole thing of how Meghan met Harry and have gone through their life are things that she has tried to keep Diana right up there in the front line. So I think that he would keep him under her thumb. I don't see any other reason to do that. I mean, initially, when he first met her, she was wearing lots of Diana's favorite perfume, which made him feel, oh, she's the one. He was very easily taken on. Now, it could have been just a very unusual coincidence there, but she's a very cunning woman and she's a clever woman in that sort of area. So I'm sure she did that to encourage him to fall flat for her. Then at the engagement, when there was this BBC interview, which she complained about afterwards hugely because she wasn't allowed to take over. She had to just answer the questions she was given. But she said, Harry said, that if my mother knew, my mother would be jumping up and down and she and Meghan would be the closest of friends. Now, that's not true. She wouldn't have liked that because she cared very much about the monarchy. But anyway, that's what she said. And Meghan took his hand and said, she's with us now. Okay, now this is all spooky. But it goes on. And then after some time, she went to, so after 20 years, his mother had died. They went to Diana's resting home. And she kneeled on the ground and said she asked for her to give her clarity and guidance. And Meghan believes that Diana is with them every single day.
And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what the media won't show you. Angela Levin dropped a bombshell that Meghan Markle has spent years crafting an image that mirrors Princess Diana. From recreating iconic fashion moments to echoing her mannerisms and camera poses, Meghan isn't just inspired by Diana. She's allegedly trying to be Diana 2.0 in the public eye.
I mean, he said that to everybody. He doesn't make any sort of, not no concern about saying that. Like he said before, that he, she would be very pleased that he was going to live in America. It's all what he needs somehow to stay alive, that his mother is still there. And it stopped him, I think, from doing lots of things because he's only doing things that he thinks his mother wants. And actually, after such a long time, he can love her to pieces, forever, but she needs to move forward and he doesn't want to. And I think that this is a way that Meghan holds him back, keeps him there, can easily say anything about, oh, but, I'm sure your mother told me today, ... And I think that the way that she began with that has made him feel that she is Diana number 2. But where is she? She's not compassionate. She's not like Diana was. Excuse me. And she's nothing like her at all. Diana was very young and she'd had a very hard childhood, so she had issues, but she was a very beautiful, wonderful girl, and Meghan is not that by far.
See, Angela, everything you've just described to me sounds very manipulating.
Yeah.
And that's quite toxic when you're dealing with someone's grief. Because even in Spare, Harry seems very sucked in and manipulated by so many of the lies that Meghan told. So, for example, we're meant to believe that Meghan had never heard of Prince Andrew, that Meghan had no idea about any aspects of the royal family.
How
When
to
in
curtsy.
Yeah, she didn't know how to curtsy, when in fact she had visited Buckingham Palace as a child. Biographies of Meghan's early life reveal that she was acutely aware of the death of Princess Diana, and I'm a very similar age to Meghan. And believe me, anyone who was a teenager when Princess Diana died was incredibly touched and inspired by that event.
But here's where it gets disturbing. Harry has openly said that he believes Diana would have loved Meghan and even claimed she's with them every day. Is that love, or is it manipulation? Despite these patterns, Meghan's narrative in the press remains victim of royal cruelty, misunderstood Hollywood outsider.
Yes, I think you're right, but I think it could have been a wide range of people who were inspired by her. You know, the way she went to visit people in hospitals and look after them and be brave and do all those things. And for, you know, children in Africa, but people would come to her so much. Did love her. And now if you watch small children, often, I'm not saying always, but when Meghan wants to go for them to have a picture, they won't. They push her away. They don't want her. And I always think that small children have a very, very strong sense of who's good for them and who isn't. I mean, they can never get enough of Catherine. But often with Meghan, they push her away. And often Meghan just goes to have a picture taken there because that will look good. She doesn't even speak to the child. And I think she hasn't got that je ne sais quoi, which Diana had, and which most of us can admire
Oh, I
hugely.
mean, she didn't at all. Let's be honest about it. She didn't at all. And there's a fundamental difference with Diana, which is that Diana grew up with us. She was a young virgin
Aha.
when she became famous. We saw her vulnerabilities. We saw the end of her marriage. And with Meghan, you know, this is a ambitious, much older, divorced Hollywood actress who wanted to be internationally famous without having to do much work. But Andrew, I just want to show you what Andrew Morton, Diana's biographer, who of course wrote her true story, revealed about Meghan when he was researching her book. He says Meghan, when she was a teenager, was captivated by Diana. She had my book, Diana, Her True Story, on her shelves. They watched the funeral. She and her friends were saddened by it and very moved by it. I think they did some charity collections afterward, took toys and things like that to the charity store. Well, Angela, that's all fine, but that means that she trapped Prince Harry into a lie because he so naively bought into her absolute bullcrap that she knew nothing about the royal family, that she was completely naive, which, look, unfortunately, I do think she manipulated Harry from a very early stage. At the same time, I think he was very naive to believe what was obviously mistruths.
Yeah, but he was desperate to get married. He said to me that he was fed up with being the third one. You know, it would be William, Catherine, and him. And at times he felt, you know, he's the sort of gooseberry that hangs on. And I completely understood that because, you know, he was getting on. And it is difficult when your brother is settling down and having the first child, and it's very difficult. Um, but I think that he very much wanted to marry, and it was very difficult to get the right woman because a lot of them didn't want to be in the spotlight. Couldn't think of anything worse And so it was difficult. But here you have an actress of sorts who was used to it and would love and could cope with people taking pictures of you. It's difficult, and it's not easy to be within the monarchy either, because you have to go through with certain rules and behave in a certain way. I mean, Catherine has done this miraculously, really, and it was going to be hard for Meghan because she came from a different country. She would have no idea how it works, but you never thought she tried anything really. She didn't like anything that wasn't done her way, and she wanted to pull Harry with her in the same way that she does now, and she did. You know, he has to do whatever she wants to do.
Mm.
He has to do what she wants to do, and that's it.
Yet it was Meghan who arranged paparazzi shots, pushed for a public relationship reveal, and even allegedly manipulated Harry into defending her against the media early on, framing critics as racist or jealous. Meanwhile, her team positions her as Diana's spiritual heir, knowing full well that attacking Meghan then becomes but attacking Diana. Genius PR move or genius manipulation?
He was
Yeah.
very scared she might go away. She was very scared. I remember when I went to visit him at the palace, the one of the aides said to me, "Be very careful because he's in a very nervous way in case she's going to leave him." This was before they announced any engagement. Just, take it easy, be careful. And that I felt he wouldn't have said that to me unless Harry was really in a very anxious, difficult mood. Was he good enough for her, really? I think a lot of that was.
But Angela, again, that is, I mean, fascinating insight, by the way, and this is why you're the best, because of course you are the biographer of Harry. You spent all of that time with him, so you know the man personally. But what I would say is, again, that was incredibly manipulative. I mean, with everything we know about Meghan Markle now, as if she was ever going to leave because of the media attention. This is a woman who had been booking paparazzi photographers to follow her around London for months beforehand. This was a woman who had tried to set up dates with Ashley Cole, the England footballer who used to be married to Cheryl, the singer, Matt Cardle, who had won the X Factor, and Max George, who was a member of the boy band The Wanted. Actually, really nice guys, but nowhere near the level of fame of Prince Harry. So the idea that she was going to leave Harry is for the birds, but that doesn't matter because Harry believed it. Harry thought, if I didn't release this statement, that Meghan might leave. And that's what prompted actually a lot of the, I think, early ill will between the mainstream media and Harry and Meghan, because do you remember, Harry forced his press secretary, who didn't want to do it, Jason Knauf, to release that statement where he accused the media of racism. And this was at a time, Angela, when everyone was embracing and was really excited about Meghan Markle.
Yes. I think it was Vanity Fair that did an interview with Meghan, and she decided she wanted to do this, and she was talking about them being a couple and they loved each other and it was all wonderful. And I think that was there to force him to say that they have to, the press are appalling about this and they have to announce it. She pushed that he had to marry her now. And so, it happened, but it wasn't that she would wait. I can't imagine anybody who was going to marry a prince, a handsome prince, and would say to them, below you, I'm going to be interviewed by a very good magazine, and I'm going to say what it is, and too bad. That's what she did, really. He was obviously very pleased that she meant it, but actually it was a very crude thing to do. You got the picture. Good. Yes, interesting.
If you've stuck with us this far, it's clear you're not afraid of the truth. So smash that subscribe button, join this community of critical thinkers, and don't forget to turn on notifications. We've got more unfiltered royal deep dives coming your way. Is Meghan Markle just misunderstood? Or has she weaponized the most tragic chapter of Harry's life? Angela Levin thinks the answer is clear. The question is, do you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk. This story isn't over yet.